This is our first guest of season 10.
Hey.
You are
56.
Yes.
56.
I love that. There's nothing wrong with vanity.
Mandy
Right.
used to always say that to me too. Right?
Like vanity is fucking epic. That means I care about how I feel. I care about how I look. I care about how I show
I
up.
love that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And from there on out, it didn't really matter what happened on stage because I made it. People get all over you for doing the healthy thing. Why aren't we all doing that?
If I lose weight, if I'm tight, or if I have abs, of course I'm going to be confident. Like, you're
No,
not.
you're
You're not.
I think it's your self-worth that comes from you.
Yeah.
I am enough.
Yes.
You know, I did it.
It doesn't matter who you are, how you are, what you look like. You can do it.
And you don't arrive there. That is a result of showing up for all the other
People
things.
spend-
How we talk to ourselves is everything.
Is it really a sacrifice if you're getting something on the other side?
A couple days after the show, I was measuring my food again. And he said, really? And I said, yep. Because I feel like $1 million.
Yes.
Keep that going.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 1 of our new show. She is Lais, and I am the coach. And that is the name of our show.
First of all, if there's ever been a time for personal bubble, this is it.
We will always stay true to what we do. So doing is going to get you to the next place.
Right.
Throw the list away. It's only a matter of time before you cave.
You can look way better than you used to.
Such a great experience.
Well, like it knows everything you've given.
Shown curiosity. What if it actually works?
I've been chopped down como persona.
100%.
An extra vitamin C
right now. Sometimes it is a member.
Welcome, everybody. Peace out, everybody.
3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome, everybody, to Lais and the Coach. This is our first guest of season 10.
Hey.
And it's a really great opportunity for us because we wanted to make sure that season 10 was a little bit different than all the other seasons. And our first guest is someone who actually used to watch our podcast.
Sure did.
Lauran, welcome to the show.
I've been watching you guys for
Thank
a
you
long
being
time.
here. Lauran is a member of Team4EVER, and she just competed at the WBFF Tampa show. Just how long ago was it already?
2, 3 weeks.
4 weeks.
4
I think.
weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah,
It's
I
been
think
4
it
weeks
was
since that show.
Yeah.
Was that before Father's Day?
Right.
After.
After. I thought my show was 4 weeks ago.
No,
it's
we
4
were
weeks,
in
yeah.
LA in May. It was right after my birthday. Yours.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
this one was right before Father's Day, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Time's flying.
I
Time
know.
is
Like, what day is it?
It's
What month
crazy.
are we on?
So if you guys have watched our show before, we love to have competitors come to the show and talk about the journey itself to getting ready to step on stage.
Yes.
And the most important reason to why we have competitors talk about the journey is because there are so many other people that are trying to pursue something that have a bunch of different things happen to them along the way. And a lot of times they feel like they're on an island and they feel like it's only happening to them. So it's always cool to hear all of the things that go on behind the scenes when somebody's getting ready for a show, because all you see is the person stepping on stage.
Mm-hmm.
You
Pretty and
rarely
brave.
ever
Very
see the before. You rarely ever see the ups and downs along the way. So hearing about it in the first person is always the best way for the person on the other side to grasp it, because it's not like we are writing, here's this person and she lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and she had an amazing time doing it.
Yeah.
Making
That's
that all
not
up.
relatable.
Right.
Yeah.
But so let's start with, so Tampa was your second show.
Second show.
Yes. What
Yeah.
made you decide to start competing?
So it's such a cute story. My son was a powerlifter, and he, during COVID, we were all together, 10 of us in the house, and we all went and worked out and would have our, fun mornings doing whatever. And I still kept complaining about my body and how I looked, and he was like, "Mom, then do something about it." How simple is that, So he found a gal in the gym who looked like she was a bodybuilder and approached her and said, "Will you coach my mom?" And so from it still brings tears to my eyes because Amanda was so good, met me where I was at. We had a coffee talk, and she said, she didn't even say get up on stage. She said, "Let me, train with you," and then the excitement of stepping on stage in a pretty bikini in the glam part of the WBFF. I had no idea what any of those were, any of the federations were, was intriguing. And so I think I just decided to start. And that was the simple part of it. You just start.
That's awesome.
I love that.
So number one, shout out to Amanda.
Yes, Amanda.
Amanda Bodybuilder. That's what she still is in my phone.
Why don't you do something about it? That is,
concept.
Yes, yeah.
you know, I think that too often everybody likes to live in the idea that they're not content with something, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Insert thing.
Their body, their job, whatever. But doing something about it eliminates the ability to complain now.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I think that a lot of people.
And what
like
message are you sending to your kid if you don't?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And just start.
Right. Just
That
start.
was-
And the accountability of having a coach. Yes, we can do it. I've tried it all. Every diet out there, everything. You know what I mean? I follow this person, but the accountability of having somebody to check in with is so important, I think, too.
Yeah.
And then at what point inside of that initial period where you started your journey, did you kind of figure out that this stage thing was going to be something that you were going to pursue?
I think right away.
Okay.
I committed to it.
Okay.
And so then you have all the mindset games. You know what I mean? Well, gosh, if I don't do it, then what? You know, so it was exciting and scary at the same time. And that was part of the motivation, I think, behind it.
And how much time did you take to prepare for that first show?
So I think I started with Amanda in October
Okay.
and then competed in June.
So
8
relatively
months.
soon. Yeah.
8 months. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that's one of the other things. A lot of times people think that
Takes
it
years.
takes forever. Well,
And mind you, she's a mom of how
Yes.
many?
4.
four. Right.
Why did I think it was 3?
No, it's 4. 2 girls and 2 boys.
Wow.
Wow.
Mom of
Ashley,
4.
Johnny,
Do you mind
yeah.
sharing your age?
Yes. Amanda's 30, Ashley's 28, Johnny's 26, and Ryan's 24.
You are?
Yes. 56.
Yes.
56.
I love that.
Yes.
That's part of my story, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I asked, because I knew you'd be willing to share.
Part of it, I like to say it, and then other times I'm like, well, no.
It doesn't matter.
Just fit in. It doesn't
matter.
matter. Yeah.
Exactly.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but I'd love to be able to empower the 56-year-old
Exactly.
frumpy moms out there who don't think they can, because you can.
Why do you think
I love
that
that.
there is such a stigma with certain numbers and what you're able to do and not able to do anymore?
Well, because it was so different when we were growing up. You didn't lift weights. Even the young boys, I don't think, did in high school. That was out there if you did. And I had a brother who was a professional football player, so I saw that, and he did, but most people didn't. And so women certainly didn't lift weights. And so it was a different time period than where you guys are at. You know?
And then that stays. It's almost like that set of rules. Like,
And it stays with you.
It stays with you.
It also goes with wearing the bikini, you know, and am I allowed to be sexy, you know,
Right.
or flirty, or no, we covered ourselves up. You know, you didn't wear the bikini.
and
So
do you
that's hard
think?
stuff to break through.
Yes.
Do you think as you've done more of this that it's opened up maybe the way that you saw it or the way that you think about it in comparison to other people that are still using the same set of rules to not do something?
And stigmas, yeah.
Yeah. Well, now I think it's more about being healthy and aging gracefully. So that's the message I would want to. pass on.
I
Yeah.
don't think, I think on so many levels, there is not enough, I don't want to say information because that's not the right word.
There's too much fucking information, if
I don't think
anything.
there's
Right,
enough
yes.
actual education on the importance
Right.
of it.
Right. Well, and think about the way I grew up was you did cardio. You did Jane Fonda, you know, and you did, I don't know, whatever else we did, all the crazy videos and stuff, because that's what you had. You put the VHS tape in and you
Put
did
the tapes
that.
in.
Yeah. And now cardio is not the thing. We should be lifting, you know,
Yes.
the weights and stuff. So education.
Education
Is such a huge part of it.
and not only education, but then finding the person that
Yes.
is relatable to where you are
Meet me where
and
you're at.
seeing that all the misconceptions that are out there or all the things people think are going to happen are
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
or that lifting weights is not just for, and lifting weights is so many things. Getting stronger is not just for a specific demographic.
Mhm.
Everyone, all of us
Yes,
should
should
try
be.
to
It's
get
not just for
stronger.
aesthetics.
Right.
It's not
all
just
of
for the
us
way you look.
should
Yes.
continuously
Yes.
try to get
Yeah.
stronger. every day, every year. As we get older, we should still try to get stronger.
That's even more important.
It's
yes,
even
because if you
more
don't use it, you lose it.
If you don't use it, you lose it. And I've said that I don't know how many times on the show. But for so many things. And I think that it always gets lost in the vanity part because people think it's only people that are trying to look a certain way.
And I hate that too because it's like, so what if it's vain?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with vanity.
Amanda
Right.
always said that to me too. Right?
Like vanity is fucking epic. That means I care
love
about
that.
how I feel. I care about how I look. I care about how I show
I
up.
love that.
But
yes.
there's a stigma around that too.
But it's like,
Because
oh,
if-
you're so vain. Like,
Right.
yeah, bitch,
Yeah,
and what?
I am.
Right.
Like, you should be too.
Yes.
Right.
I love
But
that.
the truth is that we were talking about this earlier, but it's like that mirror thing. It's like,
Yes, life is
you-
a mirror, not a window.
you are showing me all the things that I'm not doing.
Right.
If you're vain and you are taking care of yourself,
Then
and
you're a
you are-
bad person.
Right, you're a bad person because all you're doing is reflecting the fact that I'm not.
Exactly.
I am not making time to go exercise. I am not making time to go
Yeah.
do my nails, do my hair, put on makeup, do this, do that.
Because it's not important. It's very important.
Right, it's very important
very
because
important.
it does reflect the way you feel.
Yeah.
Because if you're, a lot of times I think it's also associated with people who are like shitty or full of themselves. Like people who don't take care of, I was going to say ugly people, but people who don't take care of themselves are shitty too. Like
Right.
Yeah.
vanity doesn't have to come with like you treat people like shit or you think you're better than anybody else. It just means you care enough about yourself.
Right.
Right. And everyone should.
But even inside of that, you should still, even if you're still
Anti-vanity, even if I didn't convince you quite yet.
think about the other things, right? Think about how often you're going to need to pick up a box of water. Think about how often you are going to have to walk up and down whatever amount of steps with your grocery bags. Think about your suitcase when you travel. Think about insert thing that you are going to have to lean over and pick up and put somewhere else that over time, if you don't do anything, is only going to get heavier. Right? That same 10 or 15 pound suitcase is going to weigh a lot more 10 years down the road if you are not actively pursuing getting stronger.
And who doesn't want to pick up their grandkids?
Yeah.
And
No, that's why I do it all, just to keep up with my kids.
Yes.
I want to be able to walk through Disney World with my kids. You know what I mean? And go for 4 hours straight or whatever it is.
people always associate it with like,
Yes.
oh, these people get obsessed with these big muscles. It's like, no, like you want to be healthy. You want to you need muscle. Do the science thing, for your bones.
Yeah, for sure.
But the other thing is this, and I'll get to that. But the other thing is, you don't just put on a massive amount of muscle
Oh my God,
because,
that's my favorite.
because you picked up something.
When
you
we
know,
talk to people, like,
it's-
I don't want to get big. I get really big,
I
really
love
fast.
you.
I'm like, so what's the fucking secret? And what is this?
right. But and again,
Oh my gosh.
if you're listening, if you're at the gym and you are afraid of picking up 10-pound dumbbells or 15-pound dumbbells or 20-pound dumbbells because you think that you are going to get overly muscular, then insert that logic back to a 24 pack of water weighs 24 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's hard to understand, but each one of those is 16 ounces. If you have 24, right? It's a math thing. And if you pick it up, it's 24 pounds. You are not going to get big and bulky, nor do you sit there and say, well, I'm not going to pick up that water because if I do, my shoulders are going to grow.
Or I'm going to pick up my kid.
Right, instantaneously. Or how much does your kid weigh? Right? If your kid fell asleep on the floor and he's 30 or 40 pounds, right? Junior weighs 60 something pounds now. Are you going to not pick him up because you think you're going to get big?
Yeah, and not only that.
Like, where's that logic come
What
from?
area of life do you just do minimal effort and get this massive outcome? Like, does anybody walk into work one day and walk out of it a millionaire? No.
Right.
Does anybody clean one room in their house and their house is clean? No. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, you don't do like one thing or a few things and then you have this massive result. Like, why is fitness some sort of magic?
I don't know. But anyway, so you decided to compete.
Yes.
Back to you.
Back to
Our
you.
rant
I
is
love
over.
all this stuff.
So how was that experience of getting ready for that first show? Had you ever done anything like that
Oh my
before?
gosh, no. It was
Never.
so out of my comfort zone. Yeah. I think the glam part of it and the posing is so it was so so out there that but so beautiful. Like I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me, very hard. I can't put two steps together. And so it was
tough.
exciting, tough.
Of all of the things that you had to do that were different for that first go around, what did you find to be the hardest and what was the easiest? Because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think I think that going to the gym was easy because
Okay.
I've done that most of my life. in
You
some-
were a
in
regular
some
workout
side.
person
Yes,
before?
Yeah, and I ran a marathon and I've done 5Ks and always in the gym.
Okay.
Always active with the kids.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So that was the easy part. The eating, meal plans take the guesswork out of it. So that was not hard. Is it different measuring your food? Yes, but you get used to it, and it actually is a little game that you play with yourself. The posing.
The posing.
The posing part of it. Yeah. And then the glam part comes easy, and that became the fun part. Yeah.
And once you got to your show weekend that you're going to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Friday, it's registration night, you know, it's happening the next day. What was the most surprising part of the weekend?
The emotions that all came with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Was it stuff that was bottled up?
Yeah.
She's like, it's still there.
Well, yeah, like just accomplishment, just the sense of, oh my gosh, I did this, you know, and your body is amazing. The way you feel is amazing. And just the pride of the accomplishment of sticking with it, trusting the process, you know, and getting it done. Yeah.
You know, it's something that we hear so much, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked to so many people, and it's so true of anything else, right?
Yes.
Getting it done.
Yes.
Seeing it through.
Seeing it through.
And I think that so often the first time competitor is worried about so many things, right?
Right.
Is it going to come together? Am I going to look like I belong? Am I, you know, insert thing that they are worried about. When on the other side of that, they are never thinking, if I just see this through, you know?
Right.
It's always these other things that are
Attach all of
arbitrary,
these made up
right?
things. The amount of people that said, what if I trip on stage? I'm like, what kind of fucking question is that?
Right?
Right.
But then you don't know how many times the thing that is most common is I saw it through,
Right.
you know, that brings the most joy.
It's the magic.
So what got me through this second show were little mantras that I would say to myself. And one of them was, what if it is better than you even thought? You know, and I think that those kind of things are so important. Or I deserve to be celebrated was another big one. I think even after the first show, I deserve to be here, you know, was a great thing.
You know, I think that going back to what we were just saying about the vanity, it even sounds like a negative word, right? Vanity.
Yeah.
Right?
So does
But-
Diva.
But how much of I don't feel like I even deserve any of those is
Yeah,
tied to that,
Oh,
you know?
yes.
And
And-
for all the people that we coach, it's one of the things that we observe, because most of the people that we coach are women, 90%.
Right.
And 90% of that 90% are moms,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you give so much.
I love this part of it. Yeah.
And you don't realize that along the way, and I don't know how it happens or where it happens, but it's common.
Yes.
But you just stop feeling like you need to give to yourself also.
Or that you even belong on that list at all.
Yes.
Forget at the top of
Yes.
it.
Right.
Right.
Forget
You're
at the
not even
top.
on the
No,
You're
fucking
not
list.
on the
Yes,
list
you're
anymore.
not.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's a lot of, you know, you're pouring from an empty cup, so
Right.
you don't even have any for you,
Right.
or how much of is I don't even think I should be doing anything.
Yeah.
And then
For
then
myself.
what's the thing? Like, is it because you feel like if you do for yourself, you're not going to do for the kids?
Yeah.
You know,
Taking
what
them
is
away. I
the
don't
thing
know
that
what
ties it
is
together?
That ties it together. Confidence.
Considering that you have 4,
Yeah. Self-worth,
Yeah.
you know.
did you see yourself giving more as you had more kids?
So I think it's made me so much better.
Okay.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah. Well, because when mom's happy, the rest of the family is happy.
Yes.
I mean, when dad's happy too, we
Right.
each play our different
For
roles,
sure.
and yeah. But when mom's feeling good, everything
Everything
goes
flows.
good.
But you know what?
Yeah.
To your point, like I feel like one of the things that I've noticed a lot and been thinking about a lot is life is just this giant game of momentum. And I feel like you're in this momentum of others and others and others and others that you don't even notice. Or it just becomes normal.
Right.
Like think about all of the different ways in which people live around the world that to us sound insane, right? Like whether someone lives in a hut,
Right.
or someone lives in a house with 7 wives or whatever. Like there are so many different beliefs and so many ways of living that are really normal to the people that are in it, but then not to those that are around it. But I think it's because that's what you do every single
just do
day.
it, yeah.
And I think with moms, it's that. It's not that anyone says like, you can't take care of yourself. It's more like that baby is born and you just do
life
and you
goes
do
on,
and then
yeah.
and then the house and then the husband and then the other
Yeah.
kid and then you're just in this momentum of doing everything for everybody else that it's not even a thing to do anything for yourself.
Right.
Like it's not even a thought.
Right.
You know, and it's like until you do, until
Yeah,
you stop,
and
and then you're like, holy shit, like I'm not even doing anything for me because I experienced the same thing.
Mhm.
And then you build momentum in that direction,
Right.
because then it becomes completely unacceptable to live the other way again,
Right.
because you've seen the other side
Yes.
of
Yeah.
that. And then you also see, even for me personally on this journey for all these years, I have moments where it dips. I
Right.
have moments where I'm not
Life
feeling as great about
seasons.
myself, or where I'm not putting as much effort as I was, let's say 3 or 6
Mhm.
months ago. And I'm not just talking about fitness, I'm talking about me as a human.
Mhm.
And then you're like, nope, like I got to shift this momentum
Yeah,
back in
gotta
the
get
other
back.
direction. So it just really does become that. It really does become about like what it is you are doing. And so that if you are in a situation where you're not happy with it, then it is just about doing it.
I think
Like
it's
it
about,
really is that simple. It's not easy.
it's about living intentionally,
right.
you know, and picking
Well-
the things you want to do.
Yes.
You know?
Have you noticed, because I have observed it, that there is a lot of times very little intention behind a lot of things?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and obviously living with intention sounds like something we should all do, but I don't feel like there is a lot of intention behind a lot of things.
Right.
I feel like there is a lot of, this is what it's supposed to be,
Right.
or this is what I think I should be doing.
Yes.
And the intention gets lost along the way with all these next set of things that I'm supposed to do or should be doing
Should be right.
that you may or may not want to.
Yeah.
So there's very little intent behind it.
Yes.
Right.
So I think that dominates
Right.
a lot more what most people are doing. And then there's very little intention behind most things.
Mhm.
And I
would
feel
agree.
like this fitness thing
Yeah.
can be very
It
intentional
has to be.
because it
Yeah,
requires
for sure.
intent,
Right.
right? And I think that it can be the catalyst
Mhm.
Yeah.
to being more intentional in,
In other areas of your life.
Yes.
100%. That's why I said it
Yes.
makes me better everywhere.
And
Yes.
I always, you know, and again, I always talk about, and I said it to you, it's like it's exercise and food.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think that people realize that, you know, you start with exercise and food,
Right.
and then
it's
you
so
start
much
to
more.
feel good, and then you start to perform better, and then all of a sudden you show up better
Right. For
and-
everything.
for everything.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so while sometimes I minimize it to bring everybody out of the
Yeah.
so crazy,
Yeah.
you know, it's like just work it out, you know, just some push-ups.
Yeah.
It is very powerful.
It is.
And
It's
and I think
life
that
changing.
and I think that we know that on our side,
Yeah.
but I always feel that if I sat down with somebody day one and said, "This is going to change your
Right.
life,"
No, they would have.
you know,
Yeah.
They're
you
gonna
were
be like,
gonna
I don't
feel,
give a fuck.
you're
Yeah.
going to feel so incredible
Yeah.
after all of
Yeah.
this.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
like
they
a
work
new
hard to-
superpower,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like, I just
Yeah.
want
They're
to
like, I
lose
just
20
wanna
pounds.
get
Yes.
in shape. You know, but it sucks because
Yes.
we have to hold
Hold all
back,
that in. Right.
knowing
Right.
what's coming.
And worse than that,
Right.
a lot of times because people aren't used to putting themselves at the top of the list and they're not used to pouring into themselves, the moment that they notice that they're doing it, they stop themselves from it.
Yes.
Right.
It's
We're
like this.
always self-sabotage.
It is
Yes.
a massive, I like to believe, unintentional self-sabotage. At the moment
100%,
people feel
yeah.
like they're getting traction or like they're doing too good,
Yeah.
they almost need to be
It's-
like, nope, this is too good, and I gotta fuck this up because
Yeah.
that's my story, or
Right.
that's why you
exactly
said
what
feeling
it
like
is,
you
yes.
deserve it.
Yeah.
But it spreads across little things. And I'm going to get back to the show. I'm going to circle back. It's little things like we often like to stop at different places to go eat.
Yes.
Right?
You know, I love that about you guys.
She likes coffee from one
Yeah,
place and
yeah.
I like it from another.
I love that.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, to us, it's like, well, to her it wasn't. But to me, it's like, well, I have no problem taking you to go get this.
Yeah.
And,
And we
I
teach
have,
our kids that.
and I have no problem going over here to get what I want,
Yeah.
right? It's a little bit of effort, but it's what I want. It's intentional.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times people will kind of like settle for something to make it okay for everyone.
Mhm.
Compromise.
And
Oh,
make
hate
one
that
stop when it was going to take 5 or 10 more minutes to make a second or
Right.
third stop.
Mhm.
And I think that we approach a lot of things that way because it's a hassle,
Right.
Yes.
you know? So, and then when you see that it's like, well, you know, if the three of us are here and you wanted steak and she wanted chicken and I wanted fish, it's like, well, where's the middle ground? We got to find a
Yeah.
place that has like, no, why can't we just each get what we want?
Yeah.
And I think that that applies to so many other things, that when you start to build a little bit of momentum in the direction where you are going toward what you want, the hiccup is the amount of effort or extra effort that you're going to have to put in to do that one more stop or that next thing. Or, you know what, now I'm going to need new sneakers because I can't keep showing up with this. And then you're like, well, I'm not really going to buy new sneakers. I don't have time to go to the mall. It's like, you know what, I might as well not work out.
Yeah, no, yeah, we do
Right?
do
It's like,
self-sabotage.
I can't show up to the gym in these pants. It's like, well, I probably shouldn't work out. You know, it's like these little
all or nothing.
unnecessary
Yeah, why is it all or nothing?
things,
Doesn't
you
have to be.
know.
Yeah.
But circling back to the show. So you're getting ready to step out.
First show.
First show. You are backstage.
Death moment.
Yeah.
Where does it click for you that it's happening? Is it while you're in line? Is it when you're next?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
you haven't stepped on yet.
Yeah,
You
okay,
haven't done
yeah.
it.
We're, I think it happened before that. I think it happened in the room with my coach there and me trying on my bathing suit and doing the last couple poses.
Okay.
And it was tears.
Oh my God,
it
even with
was-
the makeup?
Yeah, I think it was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And from there on out, it didn't really matter what happened on stage because I made it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you had said that to me the second show.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
you're here. You know, yeah. So
And then once you stepped on stage, like they call your name and you walk out, like, do you remember it? Was it like,
so she knows the story. I didn't do the T walk the right way. I went, she was staring at me. I know she was. And so I went to the front. I think I did my front pose. I honestly don't remember, but I went the wrong way. And then I walked back and I was going to exit the stage. And instead I went to the back of the stage and I went, fuck it, I'm here. I'm just going to do it. And so I looked out at my kids and my husband and just said, you're here, just pose.
Yeah.
You know, just enjoy yourself and have
That's
fun.
awesome.
And that's exactly what I did. And they're like, afterwards they texted me, Mom, you look like you're having so much fun. I'm like, I worked so hard to be there.
Yes,
awesome.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
it was,
awesome.
it was quite the moment. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that had nothing to do with an outcome.
It didn't have anything. It
With
still
the outcome was
doesn't.
that you made it.
No, right.
You could
Yeah,
have been
well,
on stage by yourself.
But my goal is probably very different than other people's goal. My goal was just to step on stage. And like when I ran a marathon, it was just to complete the marathon. I guess I am a little bit competitive, but that part didn't matter to me.
Well, the thing
Do you
is
know
that
what I
if
mean?
you've never done something, right? Like if you've
Right.
never jumped out of a plane, right? You probably shouldn't jump out by yourself the first time.
Right.
You should probably do it with someone.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like, so anytime you're getting ready to do something new, I feel that the goal should be to complete the task.
Yes. And that's all
If
it
you've
was.
never run a marathon, the idea that you're going to win it should not be in your head.
I don't care how
No.
competitive
Right?
you
Like,
are. That shouldn't be a thing.
It shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
No, and that was very
And-
clear.
And in things, in specific sports where there are things that are quantifiable, like a marathon, it is specific distance, and you know how fast the fastest is running, right? Whether or not you beat that time has nothing to do with whether or not you can finish. So goal one has to be,
To finish.
I gotta finish.
Yes, right.
I gotta finish this.
And I think that it should
And
be
goal
the
two should be, I should do it faster.
I-
Or again,
Yeah.
forget faster.
Yes.
Again
I think it
is
should
a good
always
thing.
be about completing.
Mhm.
I
Right.
really do. I
Yeah.
really don't think that getting caught up in outcomes should ever be a thing for anybody. I think if it happens, it's a cool
Right.
recognition from the outside and it's cool icing on the cake. And I think that you should show up to shows specifically feeling like you're worthy of a win at some point and feeling like you were bringing your
Yeah.
best and feeling like you did all your work, but never for a second thinking about an outcome. Like, I just don't believe in that personally.
And I remember before I even joined you guys, when I came here to pose, and that's what you said, and that's what sold me on. You know, they're not looking for me to win a prize. You know,
It's
what I
not
mean?
that
No.
the
Yeah,
prize. You
so
won the
different.
prize. Everyone that
Yes.
like, it sounds like a
Yes.
loser speech, but it's not. Like, everyone that steps
No.
on stage that sees that goal through, because it's not about just stepping on stage, right? It's about everything you do to
Everything
get
you
there,
do.
physically and mentally, and
Yes.
and all the things you have to learn and overcome. And there are no two preps that are the same. Like, just continue to learn, you continue to do, and it's like the win is to get there and do the
Right.
thing
That moment that you had
Yes. Yeah.
is the prize.
Yes.
better
right?
than you did
It
last
was-
time.
yes.
That's it. Like,
Yeah.
you just really can't do it any other way. Like, it's a
Yeah.
recipe for like just a lot of failure, like emotionally.
Right.
You know, it's just not worth it.
100%. One of the things that I've always said to everyone is once you've seen it through, right? Like first, let's get over that hill,
Yeah.
right? But once you see it through, there's usually one of two different feelings. It's either check mark, I'm so happy that I did it,
Bucket
I
list.
saw it through, or like, holy crap, this was awesome, I can't wait to do it again. What was it for you?
Oh, I can't wait to do it again.
Really, immediately?
Immediately. I love the glam part of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, hair and makeup and a couple days of that and feeling like Cinderella in your dress. I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I still want to do that. That's why I'm here more. Yeah.
Yes.
And do I want to
It's like
improve?
an
I do.
addicting.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's fun. And I have to say, joining a team was the main reason that I did it too, just to have the community around. And it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Meeting the people on Team4EVER. Everybody comes from such a different spot, but yet we're all there. You know, we have one connecting point, and it's been so great. It's so fun. Yeah.
That is
more.
number one for us. Like that was always what we wanted, right? Because when she did her first show, you're on an island,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it's
I was
like,
on an island
and
first.
it's easy to have a bunch of thoughts because you have, number one, no one to bounce them off, right? Or number two, like there's no relatability that's close enough for you to either see or feel or hear. You know, you're doing it by yourself.
Right.
You know, so a community is always good. But that first time around is always so special because you've got to see it through.
Yes.
And even you, having done 2 shows, are now on the other side of watching people doing it for the first time.
Yes.
How often do you hear things now that remind you of your first go around?
How often? Yeah, I mean, you get the people who question all the little things that you do, you know, and now it becomes funny.
Right.
You know, like, wait, oh, you're weighing your food. Oh, you're not going to have that. Or how about when you go and you do order the salad or whatever it is, and people get all over you for doing the healthy thing. Why aren't we all doing that? You know,
Right.
yeah. And so, you see all the little things that people think are quirky about what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Support is such an important part.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
How much social stuff did you notice while you were doing this? Because we've seen a lot of things. People have questions. Some of the questions are curious, and some of the questions are back to that mirror.
They're jabs.
Yeah,
Right,
I was
they're
gonna say
jabs, they're not really
for
questions.
sure, jabs. Yeah.
You know,
Some
your
people
food
don't know how to
again.
compliment you.
Right.
Some people don't know what to
you don't
say.
work out again.
Yeah.
So how many things along that way in your social environment did you notice?
I think I hid a lot of stuff
Okay.
the first time around, and then the second time around, I owned it.
Okay.
And this is what I'm doing. And literally, one time I took the food scale to the pool, and I was only with a couple of my kids, and we laughed. And it became uncomfortable. I mean, not uncomfortable, so comfortable, just like, I'm going to own it. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing, you know, I want to stay on track. And yeah, here we go. So yeah, first time around, I hit a lot of it. Probably didn't do quite as much. And this time around,
Did you ever put together that we measure everything else as you were measuring your food? Like
No
we
one ever
measure,
does that.
Like we measure our
No,
gas,
yes.
we measure
Right.
our electricity. Everything that we do is
Our money.
is
Right.
measured.
right.
Right?
Yes.
But when it comes to food, there's such a stigma
Right.
behind it.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
although-
and I think that I don't know where the stigma came from, because I don't know. Like I don't really have an answer for it. But anytime you see somebody measuring something, when it comes to food, there is
Yes.
whether they're measuring
You're
on a
gonna
scale
live like that?
Yes.
or in a cup. Like people eat. Have you seen the color?
Yes.
Like,
Commander
You've done it.
just ordered. Oh, I did do it
Like,
back in the day.
but everything
For sure.
has a stigma,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, you like that forever? It's like, what
Yeah.
difference does it make to you if I do, right? You're not
Well,
eating
and
it.
that's the attitude that I have now. You know what I mean?
Right,
You
like-
do you. Are you happy? Are you good?
Exactly.
Complaining about your belly?
Yep. You also
And,
don't-
and
yeah.
you are never on this side imposing that on someone else.
But people
Oh my-
do that.
You don't
Yes.
show up to a party with your scale and say, okay,
Right.
everybody,
No,
let's
yes.
weigh what you got.
No,
Like,
I do everything so quietly.
And
but
for
everybody
you,
has something
right,
to
you know what I
say.
mean? Right.
But if you
do,
invited
yes.
your friend on a trip and they were like, honestly, I can't right now, I'm budgeting for X, Y, or Z thing, you wouldn't be like, you're going to budget? That's how you're going to
Right.
live?
Yeah.
You're going to live like that forever?
Yeah.
Right.
You would never
You
dare
don't
say
say
something
that.
like that to
Yes.
somebody.
Ever.
You have to quantify your money, how much you're making,
Yeah.
how much you're spending, what your goals are,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
For your finances. And it's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, there's this whole thing like, you're going to live like that.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. That's not a healthy relationship with food. Like, Why is money more important than my health? Because without my health, I'm sorry, but
Or
none of
even-
that would matter.
Or
So it's
I'd
like,
like to go even a step further, right? Even if you go somewhere to eat, how often have you looked at a menu and there is a 6-ounce fillet, an 8-ounce fillet? Why are they measuring it if it's not a free for all,
Mhm.
right? Because there's an amount, right? If you order an adult beverage, that adult beverage is measured. They don't just start pouring,
Yeah, right.
right? They
Right.
measure it's an ounce of this.
Yeah.
Like recipes all have measurements.
everything has
Yeah.
Everything, right?
So
never
how
thought
much
about
fuel
that,
you're
right?
putting
It's
into your
interesting,
body, what
Yeah.
you're putting into your body
Mhm.
is not bad, or it does not make for a bad
Right.
relationship with food. It's not restrictive. It isn't, you're going to live that way. It's like, it's how we do everything
Mhm.
else.
But it's back to the vanity,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Yes.
If you are putting in that much effort into watching
You're
what you're
obsessed.
eating, that's not sustainable,
But God forbid you look and say, you're going to eat all that? You're going to eat more? That's what you're eating?
right?
You can't say that.
Can't say that.
You
Can't
guys have
shame
heard
the
it all,
unhealthy.
right? You guys have heard it all.
So,
Sure. Yeah.
And
so
then
you
some.
so you just finished this show in Tampa,
Show number 2.
show number 2. After doing a show, did you find that a lot of the same feelings that you had getting ready for that first show were still there? Or did you find that other things came up?
I
as
think
you-
other things came up.
Okay.
I think it solidified. I deserve to be here.
Okay.
I think what came out the most was, this is fun. I had so much fun doing it, and I think that was Lais. She was like, "You're here to have fun, nothing else. Just have fun." Yeah, so
That's
it
good.
was
And I think a second
exhilarating,
show too, you
yeah.
don't have the stress of the first one of like, you
Yeah,
don't
I
even
knew
know
what to
what
expect.
anything
Yes.
is like.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the second one, you're like, all right, I kind of know how this flows.
Yes.
Let me
Yeah.
try to have fun. The nerves are still there.
Yes. Yeah. But I had so
Of
much
course,
fun.
and again, I'm not
Yeah.
not to compare, but I'm sure jumping out of the plane comes with nerves,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like there's
Right.
even if you've
But
done it
it's
a
fun
1,000
to do it.
times.
You're
Oh my
right.
God, I'd rather
There-
do anything
Yeah.
else.
But
Anything else.
So-
Step on stage.
Sing
yeah,
on
right?
stage.
but there is always a sense of excitement and nervousness when you're doing something that is big
Right.
that you've been preparing for,
Unhealthy.
right?
So, right.
And you are getting ready for your third show now.
Yes.
And there is, I'm sure, going to be nerves and excitement,
Yeah.
but there are probably going to be new things
New
that come up.
feelings, sure,
You know,
sure.
new feelings, new emotions, new mantras that come up
Yes, I
with
love
getting
that.
ready for this next show. What are you looking forward to the most after 2 shows getting ready for your third?
So I think the third show is going to be different only because a lot of Team4EVER members are going to be there. Not that I didn't have that support backstage, but I was just the only one competing. The girls did come and help me and put my suit on, and they checked in with me, and they were wonderful. But I think to be backstage,
Like a
with
backstage
those
party.
girls- and our little backstage party was great with the girls that I was with. We were all over 45, and they were fun and all that. But I think having the girls, now that I know a little bit more, backstage will be, that's what I'm looking forward to. That's why I joined the team.
And isn't it interesting that when you first got started, it was, why don't you do something, right? And now you've done the thing,
Yeah.
and now you are looking for all the other things that are big. I think bigger parts of this journey than
Right.
most people
Right.
credit.
Yes.
Because the same way that you are like, I'm looking forward to being backstage with my team.
Mhm.
For a lot of, like, I can't wait to design a bikini that looks like this. I can't wait to try this kind of makeup.
Right.
It's, as you do it more and more, I think a lot of the things that people don't notice that excite a lot of the competitors have nothing to do anymore with the physique.
Right.
'Cause the physique
it's-
compounds.
And it's like, okay, like I do want it better, but I know
Right.
it'll happen.
I was gonna
It's,
say,
it's like
yes.
it's on
But you
autopilot.
evolve as a person. I think it's your confidence that becomes so much better, or your self-worth. Probably a little bit of both of them.
Do
Yeah.
you think that happens as a result of completing the task?
Sure, 100%.
Not
Yes,
necessarily
yes.
just a physique.
Right.
Yeah, no,
And
It's all
and
day.
she taught, and I bring it up because she says that often.
Yes.
I think a lot of times people think the confidence is going to come from the way that they look
Like
or
if
the
I have-
number on the scale.
Yeah, if I lose
Uh,
weight, if I'm tighter, if I have abs, of course I'm going to be confident. Like you're
No,
not.
you're not.
You're not.
No, and confidence, it comes from the outside world telling you. I think it's your self-worth that comes from you.
Yeah.
I am enough.
Yes.
You know, I did it.
I
The
love that.
accomplishments of
So
yourself.
so true.
And I
love
think
that.
that if you didn't get that, you probably stop and
Rewind.
rewind.
Yeah.
Because
That's really good.
most of the time people are exercising they are pursuing something. They may be pursuing health, which is, should all do back to that. But you are pursuing some level of validation, right?
Yes.
Whether that validation is external or internal, we are all pursuing some sort of validation that if you don't give to yourself, you're never going to get enough of from the outside.
When you put it, you're only setting yourself up for disappointment. Back to the placing and the winning. It's all great, but you have to have the validation from yourself first.
Well, it's even putting things on Instagram too. And okay, I'm putting the pretty picture up and I'm going to get these likes and all that. But in the end, none of that matters. It matters how you feel about yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think
that was
that
probably the
that-
biggest lesson I learned.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes from going all in on
Yes.
yourself.
Right.
Yes.
You know,
Knowing you.
it's not necessarily going all in on the diet part or the training part, just going all in on yourself.
That's a great point.
Because if you do great at the food and the training because you enjoy that part, you like to eat well,
Yeah.
you
Like to
enjoy
train.
working out, but you half-ass your posing or your outfits,
or you don't do anything that we also provide for. I'm speaking about our
Even-
like
even-
a photo shoot, like
Right.
things that are out of your comfort zone.
even the amount of women that we've seen that haven't worn heels in years.
Right.
You know, even something that simple provides a new layer of confidence.
100%.
Because you could kick ass in the gym in your
Yeah.
sneakers,
Right.
but if you put on heels and you're going to fall apart,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that new thing can become
Yep.
that new piece of confidence that wasn't there before.
Oh, I love that. That's one of my favorite things is the posing part.
Yes.
And you're a huge piece of that.
Thank
Just
you.
the 10 minutes a day or 3 days a
Are you
week
gonna
or
listen
whatever
to-
it is.
And it's never
not
ending because you brought up a good point. Like when she did her very first session here, like she was literally holding onto the wall.
Literally
And
was
today
holding
we
on the
created
wall.
half a routine, like
Yes.
with styling and
Yes.
arms and faces and everything. And it's like, that has to make you so happy
Yes.
because it isn't about posing and it isn't about the stage and it isn't about placing. It's about like, holy shit, like
Yeah.
not too long ago, this was so hard.
Yes.
And now it's like, look how much I can do so much faster. Like,
I love my body more too. So the
Yes.
movements and stuff and how pretty, and it's all the little lessons that you learn about the small adjustments that you make. I think that's what the posing does. You know, turn your hip this way or put your chin up. But it's not just posing for a competition to get on stage in a bikini. It's life
modeling,
stuff too.
yes.
And modeling. And
You can
your
take
family
that posture
pictures, yes.
everywhere. You should take that
you,
posture.
You and I just had that conversation about confidence and holding yourself taller. Because I was saying my girls slump over a little bit more.
But as
And
you're
I think
saying
that's-
that, I hear all of the people that are getting ready for their first show want
Yeah.
to be where you are right now.
Yeah.
They want to be in that place where they feel good about their body.
Right.
And they can come to one session and get it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And there's so much frustration behind it that first go around, right? And they want to be here,
She
right?
was there. You look so graceful doing it. This girl on
Yes.
Instagram looks this way. I'm
Yeah.
like, don't
Yes.
worry about me or the girl on
Yes.
Instagram. Like,
Right.
you have to run your race. And look, you've arrived
Yes.
in a
And-
new place.
Right.
And-
And so much more to learn. But
Again,
Of course, always.
Yeah.
you know, the purpose of these interviews is to share these things with the people that are in that moment where they're just walking,
Right.
right?
Right.
And they
Right.
see
Yeah.
somebody who's flowing
Right.
and they're like, you know, am I
Yeah.
doing something? Like, you're just not there yet.
Right.
You know, it's not that your posing is bad and that you need to add more of this or less of that. It's like you're just not there.
Yeah. Just be in the moment. And Lais always says, like, it's a layering process.
Mhm.
You know, literally
Got that
just
from
do the
him.
wall. Yeah.
He says that about
I was
the
like, but I
body.
want to do poses. I'm watching all these and I'm trying
you're
to
like,
do
I
what
wanna
they're
look so
doing.
pretty. And it's like,
and
you
you're like,
will,
yeah,
but-
yes,
And I think I truly believe, like with every ounce of my
Yeah.
being, which is how I felt right after I stepped. Like when you were talking about getting on stage for the first time, I like put myself back into
Yeah.
my moment.
Yeah.
Like literally, I remember the
Oh.
house we were staying in and waking up in the morning and checking my abs that I
Oh, yeah,
finally
couldn't believe
had,
it, yeah.
and the meals that I ate. Like I really tried to put myself back there, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I can't believe I went through with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
about who that person was
Right.
that said, I'm gonna actually go do this.
Right.
Like I don't even know how I did that. Like, have you ever been in a
No,
situation where
I
you're like, if
thought
I
the
ever
same
was
thing.
back there again, like I wouldn't be able to do it? Or if someone like when we tell your story about when you were sick, people are like, oh my God, how did you
How'd you
guys
get
deal
through
with
that?
that? It's like
Yeah.
you just do because
Yeah.
you're in it. Like it sucks, but
Right.
like the person I am now, like and the person I was then, I'm like, I don't know how I went through with that. Like nothing about who I was said that that was a possibility. And that's what I was gonna say. Like I truly believe that it doesn't matter who you are, how you are, what you look like, how uncomfortable you are. If you've never walked in heels, if you're super awkward, if you're super shy, you're a disaster on earth, you can do it. Like, I truly believe that. Like, because if I can do it, anyone can do it. But even if that's hard to believe because people see the now, they also feel that way about how many people like you and like so many others we've seen just kind of just layer onto the other side. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, how you are, or what you're not. Like, anyone can do it.
But they've got to do the thing, right? You've got to do that first show, that second show, right?
That
So
photo shoot, that
so
posing session.
and most people either are upset that they're not there yet, or waiting until they're there to actually do, and you don't arrive there. That is a result of showing up for all the other
People
things.
spend too much time frustrated and dissatisfied because they are not like that girl, and they are not noticing like the shifts.
Their own stuff. I think a lot of it, I got to go back to your talking, the way you talk to yourself. And you said, because I know I did it, I'm awkward, I'm clumsy, and those words are so important. I know you say that all the time too. Words, how we talk to ourselves is everything.
Everything.
And I can actually look in the mirror now and go, you're beautiful, or you're pretty. You know, and I'm putting my lotion on in the morning. My morning routine is like, that's what I do now.
That internal dialogue is so key.
Yes.
Right? Because it's not just the words that you're choosing, it's also how those words make you feel. Right?
Because your body reacts to what you think. Yeah.
Exactly.
And your body's going to follow
what you
that.
speak becomes the house you live in.
Yeah.
It's exactly that.
And the confidence is not going to be there magically. The confidence comes from these little milestones that you reach along the way.
Every layer.
You know, it's
every piece of the puzzle.
It's that first time that you finish your posing routine.
Yeah.
It's the first time that you look at yourself, you're like, holy shit, this is working. That first time that you put on your bikini before, you know, even before you get on stage. It's when you get that tan and you're like, wow, like I look completely. It's that first show. It's that first photo shoot. It's that all of those firsts are these milestone goals that when you do them again, they get better and better. And that second photo shoot is better than the first, and the third one is better than
wow, I did that.
you know.
Wow, I did that.
And
Yes.
then
I love to go back to
And all of a sudden, you arrive at show 4 or 5, photo shoot 4 or 5, and you're a whole new person
for sure.
that would have never been there in that moment had they not finished the other stuff first.
Trust the
and
process.
that's hard to do for a lot of people because everybody wants everything now. You know, everybody wants everything immediately, even if they understand that it takes time, but they still want it right now because I don't know how they should.
It's our world of instant gratification for everything.
Microwave.
You know?
Yes, which is why I feel like this fitness thing is so powerful because you can't get it right now. You've got to show up every day.
You can't buy it. You can't delegate it.
Yeah,
You can't
I've tried.
You've got to do the work. You are not going to get healthy overnight. You are not going to get strong overnight. You are not going to get in shape overnight. None of it is overnight. Everything requires showing up for an extended period of time
and
doing the thing. And once you arrive at whatever it is,
there's more.
There is more.
It's like a never-ending pile.
That's such a beautiful thing.
You know, it is.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the things that deters people. It's, am I going to have to do this forever? It's like, well, why wouldn't you?
Right.
You know, like what is it exactly that you want to do that is preventing you from exercising for 30 or 40 minutes a day
and nourishing your body?
Right. Nothing.
I think the health part of it is so big. I also think though too, you have those little milestones and they're all good, but you're going to have your bad days too.
Of course.
But you get up and you just keep going.
You know,
and overeat the however long, you know, or fall off. But
we just never apply. We never apply that to any of the other things that we have to take care of. The lawn's going to grow, right? You got to cut it.
Yeah.
You know, whether you have landscaper, you do it yourself. The car is going to need an oil change, and the tires are going to need more air. And guess what? There's going to be days where there's traffic, and you're going to have to sit in it, right?
Yeah.
So it's everything is like that.
Yeah.
But
it's the story you tell yourself, though.
Yes. One of my favorite quotes. I won't say ours, because we have so many.
There's so many quotes.
But I do know that we share it. It's from our friends Brian and Carrie. It's the story you tell is the truth you know.
Yes.
And it is all about, you know, being intentional enough
Mm-hmm.
to be aware that, you know, everything comes with something.
Mm-hmm.
This fitness thing comes with a lot of rewards
Right.
on the other side.
Right.
And we feel like it is more than worth whatever
Price you have to pay for
whatever
it in terms of
effort,
effort.
you know, whatever price or effort level you've got to put into it. The rewards are so
I think what you guys
10
have,
times more.
say to me, look at all you've done along the way too. You've traveled and your lifestyle
Yes.
is, you know. And,
Look at how
and
you
look
got
at
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've said that to
And
him.
so you sacrifice, okay, a meal here or there.
That's what I was going to say. I used to say that to him. I'm like, oh, but I'm going to sacrifice this or I got to sacrifice that. He's like, is it really a sacrifice if you're getting something on the other
Right.
side? Then it's
Well,
not. It's
right.
Technically speaking, it's just, like you said, everything comes
delayed.
with something. Everything has a price.
Right.
Right?
For
Like
sure.
everything has a price. Like not doing
Right.
this or that. Like
Always, yep.
everything. So it's like, it's not really a sacrifice if you are getting something in return.
Right.
So it's like, if I'm sacrificing this meal or this day, is it really a sacrifice if tomorrow I
Back
get
to
to
the
wake up
words,
knowing
right?
that I feel
Yeah.
good and I did what I needed to do? And again, we have plenty of flexibility. Like it's not that,
Sure.
No,
but
it's not that. No, I think
Sure.
my husband, like a couple days after the show, I was measuring my food again. And he said, really? And I said, yep. Because I feel like $1 million. And I have to keep that going.
Yes.
And that the sacrifice that I'm making in weighing out the 4 ounces
Exactly.
is so worth it to me.
It has a massive
Yes.
payout.
Yeah. Yeah. And he gets it. Yeah.
And people will
Yeah.
sacrifice their time and spend 10 years in school, and that's okay, right? And people will sacrifice their everyday life to save what they need to save to buy their house or to go on their trip, and that's
What we
okay.
do.
I
But
think-
it's like,
but it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's back to the vanity. It's a word you are using to describe what I don't want to do. Because if it's not bothering you, right, then where's the sacrifice?
and here's the thing.
Like if I'm saying, wow, you're going to sacrifice yourself like that, it's like, you don't seem to be having a hard
Right.
time.
Right.
Then really what I'm saying is like, for me, that would be hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
Right.
What I don't have the right to do is say, I also want the results you have.
Right.
I can't
Right.
not, you know,
Right.
And
we
the
can't
other
have the same conversation.
Right.
the other thing is like if someone was sick, no one would say that shit. If someone was sick, knock on wood, God forbid,
Right.
Yeah.
and I said, I gotta weigh out every meal and I gotta go on a 30-minute walk and I gotta like strength train whatever I can strength train so that I
Right.
can
The doctor said
you'd
my
be like, you
cholesterol.
should do it. What are you eating? What are you doing?
Right. If you went to the doctor and your cholesterol was bad, your sugar was bad, you're, you know,
No one would judge you.
Yeah.
pre-diabetic, arthritis, and the doctor said,
Yeah.
you really have to start watching what you eat and you're going to have to start moving.
You would do it.
And wrote it on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You went to Walgreens to get it.
People would support you.
Yeah.
No
Right?
one would let
Everybody
you
like,
not
well,
walk.
what time are you going? Like,
Yeah, I'll
not
go
a-
with you.
It's not a sacrifice
You know,
anymore.
and then
So
it's like,
true.
so no one would judge that. It's like, do we have to get sick for it to be acceptable?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not acceptable to prevent it. It's not acceptable to do it for any other reason. Like, because that's really what it is.
Right. Right.
Getting ready for show number 3,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're obviously a different person than you were getting
Right.
ready for show number 1
Yep.
And show number two.
yes.
and show number 2. But like she did before, put yourself back in that show number 1.
Mm-hmm.
For the person watching
Mm-hmm.
that is thinking, I don't know if I could do this.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I could step on stage in a bikini. I don't know if I could walk in heels. I don't know if I'm going to fall. What does this version of you that is able to step back 2 shows say to somebody on the other side that is contemplating doing this?
Yeah, I would say you just got to start. You deserve it. You deserve to feel good about yourself. And it's not hard. It's the little things every day. It's the consistency of the everyday choices that you make that will get you there. Yeah. It's simple.
It really is.
It
It's
really-
super simple.
And I think that's why people get blocked, because it is that
Yeah.
simple. Everyone's
Yeah.
already
I mean,
eating
we call
anyway.
it magic. It's magic, but it's simple magic.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just
Right.
follow the rules.
And I
Yeah.
think you kind of
Yeah.
touched on this, but I always like to ask too. I don't even know where I'm looking. Breeden
Yeah.
prompts me, right? But what has been the most impactful thing about this whole journey for you, like from start till now?
It's the mindset stuff. It's the how I talk to myself, how sweet I am to myself now. You know,
Oh,
just
I love that.
oh, yeah, it's the, you know, it's the confidence and the self-worth. From the beginning, that's what I said after the first show. It was a journey of self-love. It was, and now it's just how I see myself, how I talk to myself, and I'm beautiful, I'm pretty, and I have a light to shine.
Yes.
And
I
I've
love
matched
that.
my
So many
vibe. I
guys.
found my people.
Aw.
Yeah. And so it's,
You know, as she's saying that, what I'm thinking is,
So powerful.
imagine being able to wake up and feel that way, you know,
yeah.
on purpose.
Yeah.
The worst
Intentionally.
part is that most people don't.
Right.
Right. No,
And
I mean, I
everyone
wake up
should.
every single morning with gratitude. That is my number one thing, even before I get out of bed.
You've got to
Things
do
I'm
something
grateful for.
big.
Yeah.
You've got to do
Have
something
to.
bigger.
We are
and-
not meant
Yeah.
to live small.
And
Right.
I'm sorry, but getting
Yeah.
ready for your vacation or your birthday or your anniversary or
big
your
enough.
high school reunion or insert thing that somebody uses as a motivating factor outside of illness to try to make changes, even though they are in their minds temporary because they're only getting ready for the thing. None of those things are enough
They're not. You have to use
for
a
you
big
to
goal.
find that kind of change. And no, not everybody is going to get on stage, but you do have to find something that is that big, that compelling, that
Will make you show up.
that will you know, intentionally force you to do things for long enough so that you get on the other side of wherever you are now, so that you wake up in the morning filled with gratitude and talk to yourself in a way that is nurturing, because there's really no other way to be.
No.
You know?
I love that.
That was great.
This was
Good
so
stuff.
great.
So
We have
great.
so many. Bree's got her
Yeah.
work cut out for
Thank
her.
you for coming on the show.
Thank you for
That
having
was
me. I love you guys.
amazing.
You
We love
guys
For
have been
all of you guys listening and
very
watching,
important.
do all the podcasty things, like, share, comment, share with your friends. We are on Threads now. Threads is only a few hours old, so find us on Threads. It's a new Instagram.
Have you heard of
I
it?
know.
It's a new
Yeah.
Twitter.
So,
It's Twitter
so
of Instagram.
put out their version of Twitter
Oh, how fun.
like last night.
Keep going, you guys.
We're on. We're on it. So
Yes.
we are on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, all those things. Guys, till next time, peace out.